Since the first seed fell that sprouted a boy, the world has been trying to figure out the right balance of active nurture and patient timing required to grow a strong and resilient young man.
Opening day at Rockmont is a really big deal.
Opening day of camp really marks that call to adventure that we talk about with our campers.
They arrive here on opening day and they come through, we call it the gauntlet of directors, where they're shaking a bunch of hands and they get their picture taken and they get their cabin assignment, and then they come through the doors and the first thing that they see is the waterfront, which is the jewel of Rockmont facilities.
The great epic stories all have this call to adventure, and there's these things you have to sort of push through to make the decision to go that way. And so these campers, they come in and we're already proud of them for having made the decision to try camp.
This is Thunderbird Lodge, otherwise known as home of the Birch Nation. We're really excited to have 60 plus campers. It's gonna be amazing.
All we can do is make this invitation into the call to adventure. Every relationship offers him the chance to kind of get beyond himself, move into something that is unknown, like a new friendship is unknown. The great thing about Rockmont is that even though that's unknown how that's going to work out, it is a place where friendship is cherished.
One thing I didn't expect about camp was that it would make me less nervous, and it would make me feel more friendly and excitable and all things that a boy should really feel.
One of the great gifts that Rockmont offers is this answer to conventional slumber. And conventional slumber as an idea is a time in a young man's life or anybody's life where not much is happening. They are ready for an adventure. And that's one of the gifts that any adventure is, but certainly Rockmont is. We're ready for those guys who are ready for something bigger, something else happening. For the guys who are coming here for the first time, it is such a powerful change.
It's a time away from the normality, because you watch TV, you go to bed, you get up and do something, you go to bed. At this camp here, you do this, you do this, you do this, and you have skills, you have tribal activities, there's movie night, there's night swim, and there's all this great stuff that, why wouldn't you come back to camp?
Wish I could come to camp for 2 weeks. You guys are gonna have a great time. Love Camp Rockmont.
I love Camp Rockmont.
They can't wait to get here each year. This is really a second home for them. It's probably their favorite place on earth.
The first part of the hero's journey is a time in life when guys are ready for something bigger. And they know it inside them, that they're ready for something that draws them into something new. We take a portion of every day to offer all the young men different skills that they can participate in. They range from everything from soccer and basketball to weight training and blacksmithing to trap shooting and farming. And that's just to mention a few.
I'm looking forward to doing the blob, disc golf, sailing, homesteading, the dance, homesteading and riflery, to riflery, the turtle, archery, the cabin camp out, whitewater kayaking trip, to homesteading and air riflery,
Blobbing my brother.
It's definitely better than one.
Campers are encouraged to choose for themselves those skills they want to develop during their time here. This process of training and discipline in a new skill area really is the next step in the hero's journey.
It's actually the first time I've ever held a snake before, so yeah, seriously. You guys want to help me?
Each skill should have 3 things happening in that skill to engage a young man. It should have enough complexity to engage a young man's mind. It should be fun enough to engage a young man's spirit. And it should have enough life lessons to engage a young man's soul.
There are some wonderful learning experiences that can happen in a skill setting, and it might be halfway up the rock climbing wall when he doesn't think he can go any further. And he just takes a deep breath, looks up, looks down, and decides, okay, I can try and go a little higher. And maybe he makes it all the way up to the top of the wall, and maybe this time he doesn't, but he's learned a little bit more about himself, and those experiences build on themselves. And so the next time you go into an experience where you think it might be a little too much for you, you think to yourself, okay, well, I've done things like this before. I've gone a little bit higher before in my life, and I can do it this time also.
I just rock climbed up this wall trying to beat my best time.
All these guys are starting about 50 yards back behind the start of this hill, and they're running as fast as they can and then just jumping as high as they can. And they're hitting that hill and just zooming down.
There are cuts and scrapes and bruises involved, but that's a boy's life.
A camper may gain a new hobby from their experience here and the skill instruction, but I think what they all come to realize fairly quickly is that it's the other pieces of camp, the relationships they've built, the new confidence that they've gained. It's those things that last a lifetime that they carry out with them and realize, some of that came to life here during their time at Rockmont. Being in God's creation helps wake campers up to how God is active in their lives. So spiritual development comes in age-appropriate ways. It comes through devotions that the counselors prepare for each evening time, and that's a discussion. We want the counselors to present stories from the Bible that invite discussion and invite the campers to find out, okay, where do you see yourself in this story, and what connection can you make with what God is trying to say to you at this time in your life?
When we have council, it's a different time at Rockmont. We go to a place on the mountain, into a cathedral of God's glory.
Sunday council gives us an opportunity to underscore the camp motto and some of these foundational parts of what we're trying to do in the development of these young men. We talk about rejecting passivity and accepting responsibility, how they can lead courageously and learn to trust God even more. And so, we underscore those things and we highlight where we've seen those things at work on campers becoming godly men.
We call this stage of the hero's journey the culmination of the quest, because this is the time when a young man is making those critical connections and discovering how his own story fits into the greater story that God is telling all around him.
The ultimate goal of the spiritual growth of campers here at Rockmont is to let them know that they are loved by God. Here's a great place to see God's creation and to experience the love of God here at Rockmont.
With all these ways that we're hoping to see a camper grow, they're interconnected. We realize that their faith development is integrally tied to how they are developing socially and emotionally. And here we have this environment where they realize that they're in the midst of God's creation, and they've got guidance by counselors who are pointing them to these marks, not only in their own development, but also in how they listen for God and figure out, how to discern what it is that they need to hear. So we try to make room for that, and we try to integrate all of what they're learning in their skill time, in their interaction with others, in their devotion time, with important spiritual lessons that will help them throughout their lives.
My cabin, they come from a lot of parts of the world, so I got a teammate that comes also from Argentina, like me. Last year I had a guy that came from Japan, another one that came from Mexico, and it's really great fun.
I'm a Cabin 1 veteran back in the year 2000, and I love this place. You can build relationships with counselors and have somebody who will listen to you and better help you and guide you in your walk with the Lord.
When I first came to camp in '56, I realized that it was going to be a whole lot of fun, great activities. But what you don't know is what you get from your role model as an excellent counselor and staff.
From my first time at camp in 1994, I can remember the names of every single counselor that I've ever had.
With my two older grandsons and my daughter, their mother, as we left that first day, she commented and said, I really didn't remember how great the staff was here.
Because we've been doing this so long, a lot of our work is also with parents. And so we're working with parents and college students and teenagers. And so we get to see folks grow over a long period of time.
I was nervous and excited at the same time. My uncle and mom helped me a lot through that. And since I'd heard about them going and my granddad going, it made me feel a lot safer.
It's just a very powerful thing to be a part of that many lives and that many stories.
We realize we've got a story worth telling. It's a place where campers come and make friendships that last a lifetime. It's where they make new discoveries about themselves, and they form bonds with mentors who they realize have really inspired them and impacted them, and it calls them on to do the same. So that's part of our story, seeing how this is carried on, beyond our gates, but something that's born here that we really want to see continue.